He had everything: a beautiful home, a successful career, a family that once filled every corner of his life with laughter. And yet, for years, Michael Carter hadn't smiled. Not once. Not even on the days that were supposed to matter. Not even when his daughter tried her hardest to make him laugh. Because sometimes pain doesn't just break you. It silences you. It empties you slowly, quietly, until even joy feels like something meant for other people. Michael used to be different. He used to be the kind of man who noticed sunsets, who laughed too loudly at simple jokes, who danced in the living room for no reason at all. But that version of him disappeared. And in its place was a man who simply existed. Day after day, routine after routine, a life that moved forward without him ever really being present in it. Until one day, a stranger walked into his home. She didn't come with grand speeches. She didn't try to fix him. She simply paid attention. And what she did next was so small, so quiet, that no one could have imagined it would be the very thing that brought a broken man back to life. If you enjoy deeply emotional stories like this, stories that remind us what it means to be human, I put a lot of care into creating them for you. So if you'd like to stay connected, you can subscribe. Now let me tell you this story. Mornings in Michael's house were always the same. Quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the heavy kind. The kind that lingers in the air like something unfinished. Michael would wake up early, not because he wanted to, but because sleep never stayed long anymore. He sat in his wheelchair by the window most mornings, staring out, but never really looking at anything. The world outside moved. Cars passed, neighbors walked their dogs, children laughed on their way to school. Life continued. But inside that house, everything felt paused, frozen in time. The living room still looked exactly the way it did years ago. The piano stood untouched in the corner, a thin layer of dust softening its once polished surface. A photograph rested on top of it. Michael, Emily, and little Lily. Smiling. Alive. Happy. Michael never looked at it for long, because every time he did, his chest tightened, and breathing became harder than it should be. Daddy. Lily's voice would sometimes break through the silence. Soft, careful, as if she was afraid of disturbing something fragile. Michael would turn slightly. Hem. That was usually all he said. Just enough to respond, not enough to connect. Lily had learned not to expect more. She was older now. Old enough to understand that something inside her father had changed, even if she didn't fully understand why. So she adapted. She smiled more than she felt, spoke less than she wanted, and filled the silence herself when it became too loud. It was on a quiet afternoon, just like any other, that Anna arrived. She wasn't what Michael expected. No loud introduction, no forced politeness. She simply stepped into the house and paused, as if she was listening. Not to words, but to something deeper. She greeted Lily first. A warm smile, gentle eyes. Then she nodded respectfully toward Michael. Good afternoon, sir. Michael responded with a brief nod. Nothing more. Anna didn't push, didn't try to fill the silence. She simply began her work. But unlike others before her, she noticed things. The untouched piano, the carefully preserved emptiness, the way Lily hovered near her father, hopping but not expecting, and the way Michael avoided everything that reminded him of what he had lost. Anna didn't say anything about it. Not yet. She just observed. And quietly, she began to change things. Very slowly. So slowly that at first, no one noticed. It happened on an ordinary evening, the kind of evening that usually passed without meaning. Michael was in the living room, staring at nothing in particular. Lily was upstairs, drawing quietly in her room. And Anna stood near the piano. She hesitated for a moment. Her fingers hovered just above the keys, as if asking permission without words. Then gently, she pressed one note. Soft, almost invisible. Michael's head turned slightly. Just slightly. Another note followed. Then another, until a melody began to form. Slow, gentle, familiar. It filled the room in a way silence never could. Michael's hands tightened on the armrests of his wheelchair. He knew that melody. He hadn't heard it in years, but his heart recognized it instantly. It was the song Emily used to play every Sunday evening. Without fail, he swallowed hard, his eyes fixed on the piano. But he didn't say anything, didn't stop her, didn't encourage her. He just listened. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't numb. Something stirred. Something small. Something fragile. Upstairs, Lily heard it too. She slowly walked down the stairs, her face lighting up in a way it hadn't in years. She didn't say a word. She just sat quietly, listening. Anna continued playing, unaware of the storm she had just awakened. When she finally stopped, the silence that followed felt different. Not empty, just full. Michael looked away quickly, as if afraid of being seen. But something had already shifted. Just a little. Just enough. That night, Michael didn't sleep. Not because he couldn't, but because his mind refused to be quiet. The melody kept replaying, over and over again. And with it came memories. Uninvited. Unstoppable. Emily sitting at the piano, her fingers dancing effortlessly across the keys. Lily, much younger, spinning clumsily in the middle of the room. Michael laughing. Actually laughing. Slow down, you'll fall, he used to say. But Lily never listened. And Emily would just smile, that soft, knowing smile. You worry too much, she'd tease. Michael closed his eyes tightly, as if that could stop it. But it didn't. The hospital room appeared next. Cold, bright, silent. The doctor's voice. Careful, measured. You may not walk again. And then, the second sentence. The one that truly destroyed him. We're sorry we couldn't save your wife. Michael's breathing became uneven. Even now, years later, it still felt unreal. Like a moment his mind refused to fully accept. He remembered the way he stopped speaking after that. Not immediately, but gradually, like a light dimming, day by day, until one day there was nothing left to dim. Only darkness. I should have. The words escaped his lips softly, barely audible. I should have driven slower. I should have insisted we stayed. I should have. Regret. It had become his constant companion, louder than any voice. He opened his eyes. The room was dark, but for the first time in years, he didn't feel empty. He felt something else. Pain. Raw, heavy, real. And strangely, that felt like progress. Because feeling something meant he wasn't completely gone. Down the hallway, Anna passed by quietly. She noticed the faint light under his door. She paused, but didn't knock. Some moments needed to happen alone. The next morning felt different. Not better, just different. Michael sat by the window again. But this time, he wasn't staring blankly. He was thinking, deeply, uncomfortably. Is it too late? The question came suddenly, uninvited, and it stayed. Is it too late to feel again, to be present, to be the father Lily deserves? His hands tightened. No. He shook his head slightly. People don't just come back from this, do they? Years had passed. Years of silence, of distance, of absence. Could one moment, one song, really change that? He looked toward the hallway, where he knew Lily would soon appear. Then toward the piano. Clean now. Alive again. Something inside him resisted. It felt safer to remain the same. Because change meant confronting everything he had buried. But another part of him, a quieter part, wondered, what if it's not too late? He exhaled slowly. And for the first time, he didn't push the thought away. That evening it happened. Small, almost insignificant, but meaningful. Anna placed a cup of tea beside Michael. Carefully, without interrupting, he looked at it, then at her. A pause, then quietly. Thank you. Anna smiled. Gently. You're welcome. That was all. No long conversation, no dramatic moment. But something shifted. Because those were the first genuine words Michael had spoken to another adult in a long time. And they mattered. More than either of them said. Lily noticed. Of course she did. She noticed everything. And that night, she smiled a little more than usual. Days turned into weeks, and something quiet began to grow. Anna didn't rush anything. She continued her small acts, playing the piano occasionally, encouraging Lily to draw, and proudly displaying her artwork around the house, cooking meals that filled the air with warmth instead of silence. And slowly, Michael responded, not dramatically, but noticeably. He began staying in the living room longer, listening when Anna played, watching when Lily laughed, sometimes even asking small questions. How was school? Lily would light up every time, as if those simple words meant everything. Because to her, they did. One afternoon, she showed him a drawing. It was simple. 3 figures, holding hands. Who's this? Michael asked softly. That's you, she said. And that's Mommy. His chest tightened. And that's me. There was a pause. Then Lily added quietly, I remember. Michael swallowed hard. He nodded. And for the first time, he didn't look away. Moments like these repeated. Small, but powerful. And each one cracked the walls just a little more. Michael even began wheeling himself toward the piano sometimes. Not to play, just to sit near it, to listen, to remember. But now, the memories didn't only hurt. They softened him. Slowly, gently, and one evening, something even more unexpected happened. He laughed. It was brief, soft, but real. Lily froze, then smiled, then laughed too. And Anna simply watched quietly, because she knew healing doesn't arrive loudly. It whispers. One evening, Michael finally asked, Why do you do it? Anna looked at him. Do what? All of this. He gestured lightly. The piano, the effort, the patience. Anna paused, then sat down across from him. My mother used to say something, she began softly. She said, pain doesn't disappear when you ignore it. Michael listened. It stays, it grows, it hardens. She continued. But kindness, even small kindness, has a way of reaching places pain cannot. Michael's gaze lowered. I lost someone too, Anna added quietly. Michael looked up. But I realized, holding on to the pain didn't honor them. She smiled faintly. Living did. The room fell silent. But this time, it wasn't heavy. It was thoughtful. Michael nodded slowly, as if something finally made sense. Then came Lily's birthday. Michael forgot. Completely. But Anna didn't. She prepared everything quietly. Decorations, lights, a simple meal. And when Michael entered the living room, he froze. Everything had changed. Warmth filled the space. Light, life, and in the center, Anna and Lily, dancing, slowly, gracefully, to that same melody. Michael's breath caught. Every movement, every step. It was the dance he used to share with Emily. Lily laughed. Pure, joyful, alive. And something inside Michael broke. Tears filled his eyes. He didn't stop them, didn't hide them. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to feel everything. The loss, the love, the memories, and through the tears, he smiled, a real smile, because in that moment, he understood. Love hadn't left him. It was still here, just waiting. Life didn't become perfect overnight, but it became real again. Michael smiled more, spoke more, lived more. He started helping Lily with her drawings, listening to music again, even attempting a few piano notes. Clumsy, but sincere. The house felt different now, not because everything changed, but because he did. And sometimes, that's enough. Some people think it takes grand gestures to change a life. But the truth is, it's often the smallest acts of kindness that reach the deepest places. A single melody, a quiet moment, a gentle presence. They don't fix everything, but they remind us that healing is possible, that we're not alone, and that even after years of silence, a heart can learn to feel again. If this story touched you in any way, take a moment to like this video. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd really love to hear from you. And if you believe in stories that remind us of kindness, healing, and human connection, subscribe and become part of this journey. Because sometimes, all it takes is one small act of kindness to change everything.